Look, Trump is absolutely losing it right now. Jack Smith just delivered devastating testimony before Congress, and Trump's response? Threatening him on Truth Social in the most unhinged way we've seen yet. But here's what makes this even more wild. The hearing itself descended into chaos when a physical altercation broke out between a former D.C. police officer who defended the Capitol on January 6th and one of the January 6th rioters that Trump pardoned. Yeah, you heard that right. A pardoned insurrectionist showed up to mock the cops who protected our democracy. We're going to break down both of these stories because they're connected in ways that really expose what Trump is trying to do here. But first, leave a like and hit subscribe. It helps us keep doing this work. So let's start with Jack Smith's testimony, because what he said today matters. Here's Smith laying it out.
During my tenure as special counsel, we followed Justice Department policies. We observed legal requirements and took actions based on the facts and the law. I made my decisions without regard to President Trump's political association, activities, beliefs, or candidacy in the 2024 election. President Trump was charged because the evidence established that he willfully broke the law, the very laws he took an oath to uphold. Grand juries in 2 separate districts reached this conclusion based on his actions, as alleged in the indictments they returned. Rather than accept his defeat in the 2020 election, President Trump engaged in a criminal scheme to overturn the results and prevent the lawful transfer of power. After leaving office in January of 21, President Trump illegally kept classified documents at his Mar-a-Lago social club and repeatedly tried to obstruct justice to conceal his continued retention of those documents. Highly sensitive national security information was held in a ballroom and a bathroom. As I testify before the committee today, I want to be clear. I stand by my decisions as special counsel, including the decision to bring charges against President Trump. Our investigation developed proof beyond a reasonable doubt that President Trump engaged in criminal activity. If asked whether to prosecute a former president based on the same facts today, I would do so regardless of whether that president was a Democrat or a Republican. No one should be above the law in this country, and the law required that he be held to account, so that is what I did. To have done otherwise on the facts of these cases would have been to shirk my duties as a prosecutor and as a public servant, of which I had no intention of doing.
Now, Trump is a criminal. We all know this. The evidence proved it beyond any doubt. 2 separate grand juries agreed. But what Smith is doing here goes beyond just rehashing the past. He's speaking to this moment right now, to the fact that we cannot keep playing by the old rules that got us into this mess. Because here's the thing. There is a 2-tier justice system in this country. Trump wasn't lying about that. He was just lying about which tier he's on. This system benefits people like him. The wealthy, the connected, the Epstein crowd. They delay, they obstruct, they use their money and power to avoid consequences. And we've been too afraid to break the norms necessary to actually hold them accountable. That's what Smith is really saying here, and Trump knows it. That's why he's threatening him. Check out what Trump posted on Truth Social. Deranged Jack Smith is being decimated before Congress. It was over when they discussed his past failures and unfair prosecutions. He destroyed many lives under the guise of legitimacy. Jack Smith is a deranged animal who shouldn't be allowed to practice law. If he were a Republican, his license would be taken away from him, and far worse. And far worse. Hopefully the Attorney General is looking at what's done, including some of the crooked and corrupt witnesses that he was attempting to use in this case against me. The whole thing was a Democrat scam. A big price. A big price should be paid by them for what they have put our country through. Let's be clear about what's happening here. Trump is publicly instructing Pam Bondi to go after Jack Smith. He's calling Smith an animal who should pay a big price and face consequences far worse than losing his license. This is a direct threat to Smith's life. Trump is sicking his goons on him the same way he just stripped Secret Service protection from Hunter Biden while bragging about it. And this comes from a guy who's clearly deteriorating cognitively. Have you seen the photos from Davos? His hands are covered in bruises. There's something seriously wrong with him physically and mentally. Now, Trump and MAGA want us to believe that Smith's prosecution was political, that Biden weaponized the Justice Department, but Ted Lieu absolutely destroyed that narrative today with a simple line of questioning. Listen to this.
Biden or anyone in the Biden White House ever direct you to seek retribution against anyone perceived to be Biden's political opponent?
No.
Did the Biden administration or President Biden or anyone in the White House ever write a social media post directing you to seek retribution against any particular individual?
No.
Did President Biden or anyone else in the Biden White House ever direct you to take any prosecutorial step whatsoever?
No.
Okay. Donald Trump made it clear he wanted to seek retribution against New York Attorney General Tish James. Trump relentlessly attacked her, saying, quote, she should be prosecuted and, quote, arrested and punished because she dared to hold Trump accountable for Trump's fraud in New York. Trump weaponized the Department of Justice, and the Trump DOJ opened a sham investigation into her alleged mortgage fraud. We know it's a sham investigation because they couldn't even get twice grand juries to secure indictments against her. When interim U.S. Attorney Eric Siebert, who Donald Trump himself appointed, spent 5 months investigating Tish James, he concluded there was not enough evidence to go forward. And what did Trump do? He fired his own U.S. attorney. Mr. Smith, did President Biden or anyone else in the Biden White House ever tell you that Donald Trump should be, quote, arrested and punished?
No.
Did President Biden or anyone else in the Biden White House ever threaten to fire you based on any action you took or did not take?
No.
Okay.
The distinction couldn't be more clear. Biden never directed prosecutions. He never threatened to fire anyone for not going after his enemies. But Trump, he does it constantly. He did it as president, he's doing it now, and he literally posted instructions to his attorney general while Smith was testifying. He's admitting to weaponizing the DOJ in the same breath that he accuses Biden of doing it. It's almost funny, except it's terrifying. Because what Trump is really trying to do is intimidate anyone who worked on these cases. He wants prosecutors scared. He wants investigators looking over their shoulders. That's why Biden gave those mass pardons. He saw this coming. And when people say Democrats need to stop this rhetoric about prosecuting Elon Musk or Pete Hegseth or Bondi, no, absolutely not. These people need to be held accountable. We screwed up Reconstruction once after the Civil War. We screwed it up again after Trump's first term. Third time better be the charm, because if we don't fix what's fundamentally broken about this system, we're just going to get another Trump in a different form. Now here's where the Epstein angle comes in. Because Republicans are terrified to talk about it. They would rather discuss Trump stealing classified documents, trying to overturn an election, anything other than his connections to Jeffrey Epstein's trafficking network. Ted Lieu called this out too.
How scared are Republicans of talking about the Epstein files? They're so scared that they literally are calling Jack Smith, the distinguished federal prosecutor who secured multiple indictments against Donald Trump with multiple felony counts. Republicans would rather talk about the criminality of Donald Trump in trying to steal an election and trying to stop the peaceful transfer of power, and the criminality of Donald Trump in stealing classified documents, obstructing justice, than about Donald Trump's associations with Jeffrey Epstein and his pedophilia ring.
These are sick individuals doing everything they can to protect other sick individuals. Trump has tried every distraction. He can't talk about Greenland anymore because he backed down when Europe stood up to him. Just filler to keep us from talking about Epstein. And you know what's infuriating? Trump stood in the press briefing room for 2 hours recently and wasn't asked about Epstein once. Not once. What a complete failure of the press. But let's talk about what happened at the hearing itself, because this is where it gets really dark. Republicans spent the entire testimony trying to rewrite January 6th history. And Jamie Raskin wasn't having it. Here's what happened.
Quickly go over something because we keep rewriting history. The president said peacefully and patriotically. What don't we understand about peacefully and patriotically? He asked for the National Guard. That was ignored. He asked Speaker Pelosi. What don't we understand that?
Will the gentleman yield for a question? Are you saying Nancy Pelosi controls the National Guard?
Wait a minute.
The president could have ordered the National Guard if he wanted to, and you know that.
Claim my time. I lost some of my time.
Time belongs to the gentleman from New Jersey. You have a few more seconds.
And finally, how many many elected officials say we're going to fight to win an election. It's terminology used all the time, seriously. And of course, if they were guilty, they should be prosecuted. The problem was there were many in the mix.
The unanimous consent. Gentleman yields back.
And last thing, your hand gestures, Mr. Fanone.
No.
You need
medication. The time of gentleman has expired. The audience will be in order. The committee will be in order. And the gentleman.
It's absolutely wild to watch the people who caused January 6th deny January 6th happen while the police officers who were beaten protecting them sit right there. And one of those officers, Michael Fanone, he wasn't about to let them get away with it because Jack Smith called out Trump's pardons of January 6th rioters during his testimony.
As a prosecutor, can you describe why these pardons make our communities less safe and undermine our criminal legal system more broadly?
The people who assaulted police officers and were convicted after trial, in my view, and I think in the view of the judges who sentenced them to prison, are dangerous to their community. As you've mentioned, some of these people have already committed crimes against their communities again, and I think all of us, if we're reasonable, know that there's going to be more crimes committed by these people in the future. I do not understand why you would mass pardon people who assaulted police officers. I don't get it. I never will.
He made it clear. These people are dangerous. They've already reoffended, and we're less safe because Trump released violent criminals back onto our streets. And one of those pardoned rioters, a far-right extremist blogger named Ivan Raiklin, actually showed up to the hearing to harass people. And Fanone confronted him. Take a look at what went down.
All have our trainers. Why are you so spasmodic? Absolutely. Look behind you.
Excuse me.
Why should I?
Excuse me. No, not this guy. Not this guy. Not this guy. Not this guy. Oh, forgive me.
You see how many people are constraining you? Look at me.
No,
Total control over my mind and body. Total control over your mind and body.
sir, you have no shame. No shame. You have no shame. Treating these people that way.
This guy is threatened my family.
Unbelievable.
Threatened my children. Threatened to rape my children. Rape my children, you sick bastard. Rape my children.
Honestly, Harry Dunn should have let Fanone go. These far-right keyboard warriors talk tough online, but they're nothing in person. Raiklin has a literal retribution list with Nancy Pelosi on it, the same Nancy Pelosi whose husband was nearly beaten to death, which Trump constantly jokes about. This guy is dangerous, but he's also a coward. Stood there while Fanone called him out, didn't do a damn thing. These guys are pathetic. They talk big, but they're spineless, just like their leader. Trump's the biggest keyboard warrior of all. Remember all that tough talk about Greenland and NATO? What did we get? Nothing. Complete embarrassment. Stock market lost $1 trillion in value. But here's what really gets me. Jack Smith, an actual patriot, is sitting there testifying about crimes that should have put Trump behind bars. We didn't prosecute him when we had the chance because we were afraid it would look political. And now, the President of the United States is publicly ordering Bondi to prosecute Smith. He's calling him an animal. He's trying to sick his pardoned thugs on him. He's stripping Secret Service protection from people he threatens. Meanwhile, if you're a conservative and something happens to you, you get a book deal. Your wife gets to do a media tour. Republicans build statues of you. But if you defend the Capitol on January 6th, they lie about you. The people who attacked you get pardoned and invited back to the building. There will come a day when there's real accountability, not political retribution, actual justice to fix what's broken. Because right now we're not a functioning democracy. And the only way we get back to being one is by tearing away the rot, rebuilding from the ground up, and teaching the next generation about fascism, about slavery, about the fact that the 45th and 47th president was an illegitimate criminal pedophile, so we don't get more Donald Trumps. I already hear people saying, but if we go after ICE, they'll accuse us of defunding the police. You know what? Who cares? ICE is a domestic terrorist organization, and getting rid of those thugs is overwhelmingly popular. That money, $250,000 a year per agent could go to healthcare, childcare, roads, bridges, affordable housing. Let's stop worrying about their accusations and actually do something about it. They like to talk tough. How about we fill that gap and act tough for once? Shout out to Michael Fanone. Shout out to Harry Dunn. Real patriots, not keyboard warriors like Rakeland and the rest of MAGA. We're going to keep calling out these losers every single day on this show. If you want to support that work, hit subscribe, leave a like. If you made it to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. Keep fighting. Don't let them silence you. Until next time, I'll see you.